but we are going to be recording the session. We're going to go ahead and get started now. And I will let Brittany go ahead and take it away.
Morgan, do you mind if I hang out for 10 minutes?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, friends. Some of you guys met me last month, but for those who didn't, I'm Brittany. I am an assistant professor of psychology at Marshall. I'm also the director of community-based learning at Marshall, and a licensed psychologist in the state of West Virginia. So that's my quick disclaimer of all the things. Even though I have licensed psychologists, I promise I'm not doing therapy on you. I promise I'm not doing anything inappropriate with mental health on you. Do not call the board. My license needs renewed, so let's not do that. But we are talking about compassion fatigue. So we kind of started this conversation a little bit when I was here last month about, just the way that we approach stress and how things get so bogged down. So with that, we're going to kind of talk more about the specific things that are maybe bogging us down a little bit comparatively. You're good. It works. You're okay. I work for Marshall. Tech never works. Some of you are from Marshall. You know what I mean. It has not gotten any better, friends. It's gotten worse.
Glad to hear.
Some things never change. Come on, I see you working. Or I could just be inept today, which is also highly possible. Works if nothing else. I can get them out, so it's no big deal. So what we're talking about. So this is the idea of emotional, mental, physical exhaustion from taking care of others. Which, as educators, how often are you taking care of others? All the time. Even when you're not really supposed to. You become the de facto therapist in the room, educator, maybe even parent, friend, whatever you want to say, you end up kind of being that person. This isn't quite the same as burnout. It has a flair to it. We'll talk about burnout on the final Friday. It's our nice little wrap up. But it has that flair. And we really do see this more with our helpers. So the folks who are educators, advisors, counselors, all those things. You are essentially triaging every issue that comes through your door from your students' daily lives. Be that grade appeals. I missed this test. I literally got an email as I was driving up here from a kid who has not communicated with me in a month that he's been on active duty. Didn't know that existed for him. Don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I don't know that policy. That's this afternoon's problem. Empathy and all these things. We have a lot of this going on. So we think of burnout as this idea of workload and systemic pressures. I think we kind of know that pretty well. But we also have this emotional residue of caring. Because at the end of the day, you guys care. You wouldn't be working. I mean, yes, you get a paycheck. But I highly doubt you'd be here working and doing the things if you didn't care. So what we're talking about, it can be a bunch of different things. And people feel it in different ways. So it might be more emotional, so you feel very irritable, find yourself wanting to detach, maybe even feel numb, or maybe guilty that you don't feel like you care enough. Sometimes you just hit that one student that just presses your button just enough and suddenly you're like, I don't care anymore. I had a child yesterday. I teach first year seminar again. Folks who are from Marshall may be familiar with that class. It's 120 humans on teams.
That's way bigger than it was when I was there.
It has grown.
Good.
I teach 120. I do a Teams virtual synchronous course. I weirdly love it. Don't know why, but I had this child who, God bless him. We started the assignment before I literally posted the assignment in the chat. As I'm posting it, he is typing, where's the assignment? It's above the text that you just sent. A few minutes later, is this worth extra credit? No, no, friend, it's worth 50 points. Said that at the beginning of class. It's okay. A few minutes later, can I just post my answers in the chat? No, I'm not going back through the chat for 120 people to find your one answers. Hit my button with him, but it's this idea. You start to feel it. And it wasn't his fault. I mean, yes, it was annoying. He was being a little annoying, but he also was adding to the stuff of all the rest of the week. We also would see cognitive issues. So you start to see concentration difficulties. Decision fatigue is real. It's when you get home and it's suddenly, I don't want food. I don't want to figure this out. I don't want to decide what to cook. That was also me last night. I was secretly hoping my friend would text me and be like, hey, I'm done with work. Can we go get dinner? It didn't happen, sadly. We also see ourselves withdrawing. We see that reduced patience or that more procrastination. You might also see headaches, sleep disruption, fatigue. Does any of this feel familiar to you guys?
Yeah.
Very much so, it sounds like. So these are our common signs. And why are we at risk? You guys have high need students. Probably even more so than we do at Marshall. You have a lot of students who are maybe even still in high school attending class. And you're seeing students with all these difficulties, right? So what's your students like? What are you guys experiencing with your students? It's a face, friend.
Lots of combinations of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say about half of my students are dual credit high school students. And they're all primarily seniors, which for right now, in the middle of March, for high school seniors, you can imagine
They're not doing well.
Yeah.
why.
Senioritis.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
The amount of students I've had say, man, I just have senioritis. And I have had to be like, well, you're a college student, so it doesn't really affect me much. You got to figure that out, buddy.
Yeah.
Definitely tapping that button a couple times a
Mhm.
week here and there.
For sure.
They only know what to come.
Bless their heart.
That's a good phrase for it. You have that. You have these dual credit students who, again, because they're teenagers, they're young, they don't have that maturity and maybe that understanding in the same way.
Yep.
And that requires a different skill set.
Yep.
And a different set of compassion from you guys, which is not probably fun most of the time. We also see things with housing instability. We imagine also have some students who are non-traditional in terms of age and maybe taking care of parents or kids or other things. I figure a lot of that maybe in certain, depending on the department you teach in especially. We also know that in general, across campuses, regardless of community or mainstream four-year colleges, acuity of mental health symptoms has risen. In general, mental health symptoms has gotten higher. We also see chronic understaffing. So you're doing more. It adds more of an emotional load to you. And you also become that unofficial therapist. So that was a very big head nod. That would hit for you, it seems like.
Yes. I coordinate the program for the high school students. So a lot of
bless you.
Every year there's a group that I feel like I have become their therapist a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Almost everyone in here teaches English as well. So in the narrative unit, we inevitably
Yep.
get to hear about things when the students tell us in person about things that maybe we legally shouldn't know about.
Nope, I got that.
That are like, well, I can tell you because I'm comfortable with you.
Exactly.
But should you?
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
If you
So,
don't see.
yeah, well, you have that combination of high school students, then you have non-traditional students, and then a narrative unit. It gets very heavy.
Mhm. I can imagine. So again, with FYF, I do a lot of reflections and papers. And I usually open up the first day by doing very similar to what I did with you guys when I opened up. I say I'm a therapist because my class has to do with mental health and social media. So I usually show my credentials. And that opens the gate for some things. But I'm trained. You guys aren't.
You know,
We often see caring professions attract more empathetic individuals who might even minimize your own stuff more to take care of the rest. Again, you guys are in education for a reason. You care. So I wanted to talk about it from this standpoint. We talk a lot about feeling drained. So thinking about what bucket are you currently operating from? Are you so overextended that your bucket is just spilled, empty, done? Do you feel like you have some resources, so it's kind of there? Or are you at, you're good, you're at capacity? Where do you guys feel like you're at right now?
Depending on the day, either orange or blue.
That's fair.
That's a good way to look at that.
It
Most,
depends on the day.
yeah, most generally probably in the somewhat resource category.
Yeah.
I mean, I can handle my stuff. I can get my classes taught and stuff like that. That doesn't necessarily mean that I get home and feel like a living human being afterwards. But
So you're in the middle there.
yeah.
I get that. I get that. I appreciate that you said it depends on the day. Sometimes it depends on the task.
That's true too.
So I have some buckets because I'm lazy. I didn't have time to go get buckets. But I have cups. So I'm going to set the cup here for you guys. So I'm going to give you guys some scenarios. And you can tell, or you guys can pour and decide how drained it would feel for you. I'm going to just,
Trusting me with
I trusted myself. No. I trusted myself to walk from the bathroom with that glass. I was shocked that it didn't end up all over me. I was mildly impressed, but people can take turns. And if somebody doesn't feel like doing it, by no means do you have to. So say it's the weekend. You've decided to stay up on the rare night that it's the weekend. And you get that midnight email from a student in all caps. I had one of those this week. How draining is that for you? If you were fully resourced, because you're just sitting at home chilling, how much do you pour out?
I just pretend like it doesn't exist.
So for you, you might still stay here.
Yeah,
You're going to stay up there.
yeah.
It depends on the crisis,
Yeah.
but I'd say 9 times out of 10, I've had it set up to where I'm okay with that sort of boundary there.
Yeah.
So usually I'm going to go ahead and just leave that as filled as it is. Because,
That makes sense.
Unless someone is dying and this thing isn't going to get in otherwise, unless I intervene somehow, that can wait till Monday morning.
Makes sense. Good boundaries. So it sounds like boundary setting of which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So fantastic. Let's now. You're answering it.
Can't ignore it.
No.
I know
Jamie's a
a
complete empath.
I just feel their anxiety.
Yes.
So does that drain you a little bit though? So for you, it would be we'd be pouring.
Yeah. Trust me, actually. It'll be
Jamie,
all
they
over
win.
this table. So there.
A little bit.
All right. So let's now consider it's not the student that's emailing you at midnight, but your boss, department chair, whatever you guys say. And it's urgent. It's all that was a face, friend.
I don't do that. I don't do that to them.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah, you do.
But if you did, this is where you would put it there.
no, if you were emailing us that late, I feel like the
It would
school
be-
is extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be very
Yeah.
bad.
That's
this
the-
is dire.
I don't get super frequent emails from you. So if I got one, let alone that late, I'd be like, okay, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
Something's
It doesn't have
happening.
to be an emergency.
I
Word.
occasionally get like a 4 a.m. email from my cousin to be awake.
Right. That's just normal. That's the time you get that.
That happens.
So I'm-
That definitely happens.
Text.
He did.
You just know that.
Yeah, he had to duck out. So that would definitely be draining. I'm going to give a scenario that actually happened, sadly, to my department last week. When I got done teaching FYS, which is virtual again, which meant I didn't look at my email the whole time because I was watching Teams, I had 65 new emails in an hour.
I go.
Yeah.
I thought that Marshall was burning. I didn't know what had happened. Apparently, one of our lovely office admins messed up a listserv and put a bunch of people that weren't supposed to be on the listserv on the listserv. And all those humans decided to hit reply all to say they weren't supposed to be on the listserv. It capped out at 105. Please take me off of these emails by the end of it. How draining would that feel for you all? Because I was at my bucket was empty. I was done.
Yeah. Reply all should not be an option on any email.
I'm making sick in the head. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it's funny. In the moment when my email literally crashed,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I would slap. I would snap.
I'd be screaming.
exactly. 100%.
I just tend to shut down at that point.
Yeah.
I just like, you know.
Yeah.
I screenshotted it and sent it to my friend in another department. He was like, "What happened?" Bye all, friend. Bye all. So that one, not so good.
Yeah.
What about the student who tells you everything's going bad at home? They don't know what to do.
Ugh.
That's always a killer.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That one's brutal.
Especially when you can't, there's only so much you can
Yeah.
do about it.
Yeah.
Because then you feel helpless.
Mm-hmm.
So that one, even with the best of resources, still is going to drain you.
Yeah.
By a decent amount. So you feel empty after those moments, especially if you are, as somebody said, very empathetic. It gets really difficult to hear those things. But what fills your buckets? Because that's sleep. Sleep is a good one. Self-care. You got to have those moments. What about the student that finally understands something?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's always lovely.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good feeling. Or when those high schoolers graduate.
Okay.
Do you have another glass?
They don't use AI.
So there are things that do fill it back up. Or like you said, the chair who is not going to email you at midnight. Those are always good moments. So things can, it isn't necessarily that it's always one or the other. But it might be about finding the things and learning how can you get back to being restored.
Mhm.
If that is trying to remind yourself of those moments with those students that are positive, the colleagues that make things better, sleep and self-care and taking care of yourself, not responding to the midnight email, all of those things. So it's what fills you back up. But again, we don't always have those things. So what connects for you? Is it that I feel emotionally drained after supporting others? I often carry students or colleagues' problems home with me. Feel responsible for keeping everyone around me okay or keeping my class okay. Feel guilty when I can't help. Jump in to fix problems even when I really don't have the capacity. Say yes when I don't have the time or energy. Respond to messages or concerns at all hours, even outside of work hours. Hey, I feel you. I feel you, friend. Last year, I taught research methods for our doc students at Marshall, for our, I'm again, in the Department of Psychology, so it's for our clinical psychology doctorate program. And this group was rough. I love them all individually. They are rough as a group in a class. And they did not like stats, and they were rough with stats. I got emails at all hours of the day. I got texts because some of them had my phone number because of clinical supervision.
Mm-hmm.
They have to have my phone number. If there's an emergency, I don't want it to be sitting in my email inbox. I got texts on dates. Got texts when I was out with friends. Texts on the weekend. It's again that pull. Feel like you got to do it. We often also see students share heavy personal issues with you. Again, if you are in the English department or any helping field, you see those things kind of come out. And it's not just students. Sometimes it can also be your department or the university. You feel like you're that unofficial therapist for those around you even. Do these connect for you guys? Yeah. Some at least, maybe, if not most.
8 up.
Yes.
I hear.
I appreciate that, Gary. So definitely some yeses there. So it really is the idea of figuring out what doesn't just drain you, but also fills you up. So I want you to consider, you guys can kind of talk or feel free to put it in the chat, friends. What things drain you? I gave some examples earlier, but what drains you? What personally drains you guys?
Particularly when I feel like I can't help.
When you can't help.
I really get
When you feel like you can't help somebody. We know the high schoolers drain you a bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're, sometimes you see them do really well, and it's great, and other times that
you want
little
to smack them.
little conflict will happen or something, and
They're needy.
They're needy.
So we
Yeah.
do, I feel like we take care of them
oh yeah,
very well, like
Mhm.
to the best
Yeah.
of our
Yeah, we try.
ability. We try very hard for them to feel they have a safe space, they
Yeah.
have people that they can come to when they're, and some of them do.
some of them sure do.
Yeah.
with the kids.
I feel that. So again, we have the doc program, and I moved offices this past year because I did not want to be the first office as soon as you walk in our department,
Mm.
which was my first office when I started at Marshall. I love my new office. It is big. It just doesn't have a window, but I don't care. It's just a beautiful office. I am right across from the DCT of the doc program. My office is the waiting room for the DCT of the doc program half the time. I love them.
Mhm.
But
But-
they get needy.
Mhm.
They get needy. What things energize you, though? What interactions do energize you?
I actually like recruiting the high schoolers. Like when you go out and see them in their schools themselves and kind of talk to them that way, that's like really energizing to me that way.
Very true.
I really have a good energy with our non-traditional student population. That's kind of how I cut my teeth, starting back at other community colleges I taught at. That's kind of where my passions lie for this sort of thing. So when I do get a class with adult population students or things of that nature, a lot of them are a lot more motivated perhaps to do their stuff and things of that nature. They're a lot more engaged in class, and it is night and day working with them for me. So I take great pleasure in working with those classes,
They
those
want to be
populations.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do. And it makes a huge difference in my general energy for stuff.
That's valid. You connect with the students.
Mm-hmm.
And that is energizing. I would agree with that. So last couple of weeks have not been the most stellar for me. Lots of family stuff just happened, all the things. And it's midterms, spring break, all the things. I took a break on Friday night because my friend was giving one of the TED Talks on campus, wanted to go and support him. He was incredible. He was giving a talk on AI. He's a cyber expert, so it made sense. I have a group of research students who are in the doc program who are doing AI mental health research. I sent them the screenshot of it in case they were interested. They'd already bought tickets because they were interested. And so I made the offhand comment, hey, I'll be there if you guys end up wanting to sit with me. Welcome to. Don't have to. Don't care. If you don't want to be sitting with your professor, I don't care. They all wanted to meet me. They all wanted to talk about it. They stayed through the entire TED Talks, all of them, even though it ran over by 40 minutes. But it was energizing.
Mm-hmm.
They were excited. They were engaged. We also have this piece, though. Policies and procedures that wear us down. Even at the best of university, there's just the stuffs. Be that not enough funding, some new committee you have to be on, or that you feel like you have to be on. The things you end up saying yes to, whether you want to or not. The things add up. We already started talking about boundaries, and I see the giggles already. This one's going to be fun, friends.
Yeah.
How do we manage boundaries?
Oh, they're so weird.
It's a case by case basis for
Yeah.
a lot of these things.
That's fair.
As has been noted, boy howdy, do you learn a lot of things about your students that you didn't necessarily want to have information offered about when
Yeah.
you say, tell me a story about an event or an experience that was important to you.
Oh, that's a rough prompt.
Ooh, yeah, it sure is.
Mhm.
And some of them's like, oh, I had a fun spring break, and then some of it's like, here's the worst thing that ever happened to me. And I'm like, well, I did leave that door open for you.
Mhm.
So, there's elements of just, trying to understand it as best as I can, and figuring out what the appropriate level of support is with that.
Mhm.
Right.
I think that's fair. And again, some of it's innocuous. You don't even know it's going to happen. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking about, I often talk in my classes, especially my first year seminar, about BetterHelp, which for some is a fantastic resource. For some, it's been a really negative resource historically. Data breaches, different things, different issues. Folks who do not know what it is, it's an online therapy center. And a student totally disclosed an awful therapy experience they had in the chat.
Place.
I mean, I wasn't asking for personal, I just asked for reflections on your thoughts on what this YouTuber is talking about.
I would say the younger ones seem to have a lot less boundaries with sharing everything. And I think that's like because of TikTok and things like that. They'll put it all out there
Yeah, it's
for
like-
everybody.
Very generational.
Yeah.
More normalized for them.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. The one that I'm also really bad for, the student who walks in when I'm eating. Me too. Me too.
So mad.
That's my everyday.
Well, like in our offices have glass pane, so they can look in at us and they can still see that we're eating.
Yep. Doesn't matter. Still come in. Or, you have that one work block and students drop in. I hate shutting my door. I just don't want to. We don't have the glass. If I do, I'm just in brick walls. It's annoying. The request to take on one more thing. Or what about the overly dependent student? I had one of those this week, bless her heart. Logically, I know she's applying to grad school. Logically, I know from having her for a couple classes, probably doesn't have a lot of support in figuring out how to apply to grad school. The only problem is she's not applying to my department's programs. She's applying to the counseling program, which at Marshall is not in psychology. It's over in College of Ed. I don't know their procedures. She thinks I do. Again, I was nice to her in first year seminar. I was nice in personality when she took me. She doesn't know who else to go to. Goes back to you're the one that I trust, which I'm sure you guys have heard quite a bit. Especially if they've had you as a high school student and then maybe come back another year.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
You get old return dual credit.
Oh.
They latch on to people.
Oh yeah, the ones that you have the ones who get multiple.
And they just
career
stay
student.
forever.
Yep. We got some of those too.
Yeah.
But again, managing the boundaries. So how do we do these? I'm a nerd. You can see on my glass that I brought with me.
I speak geek.
I am a nerd. But how do you guys manage your boundaries? I know sometimes it can be a case-by-case situation. I definitely heard you say that.
I mean, some element of it is just like, I don't always like doing it necessarily because on paper, yeah, I'd like to make sure that all their needs are met and everything of that nature. But like at the end of the day, though, I'm a human being with needs and stuff of my own, and I can't just extend myself out to every single thing and also get the stuff that I need to get done where I'm responsible to other people, right? I just kind of have to remind myself, okay, look, if you do this and keep doing XYZ thing, you're not going to have time to do other thing, which XYZ person is depending on you, right? You know, it's kind of an element of thinking. It's almost a math equation in my head. Like, okay, what can I realistically do while still balancing stuff that is necessary there? Like, this week I've had one-on-one conferences with my students in my written comp 2 section. They have had since a week ago time to sign up for conference slots, Monday through Friday of this week. There were days that were almost entirely empty of conference slots. And today I have alone got 6 emails saying, hey, can I maybe slide a slot in here today? And I have to be like, no, you can't. You have to actually, play by the rules of the class. I understand, but like, here's an alternative thing we can do, right? And it's just I want to, but at the same time, I have to enforce the rules. Because if I don't enforce the rules, what's the point of any of it?
100%.
Right?
Not fair to those who do.
Exactly. And that's is that easy for me to necessarily say? Not really, because some of these are some of my like really good students. But at the same time, I have to be like, look, dog, like part of me in the class is you have to learn, and you have to learn to work in the framework here. So sometimes I just have to be like, nope, sorry, we have to have that boundary. You have to play by the rules.
100%. I mean, also, it's the idea of you don't want to reinforce
bad behaviors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of it, too.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say no. Because like you said, I hear it in your voice. There's that pull of like, I want to just say, yeah, go ahead. We'll figure it out. But not the most helpful, maybe.
No, it is not.
And very draining for you to have extra meetings on a Friday, I'm sure. It's hard to say no to the things. It's hard to say no to students who are coming to us and telling us the bad things that are happening. Again, I got this kid who's in the military. I don't know what I'm going to do for that because all my assignments close at a day in April, and he's not coming back to campus, or at least to Charleston, to take a virtual course until the end of March. He's going to have maybe 2 weeks unless I figure something out. I don't know what to do with that. It's hard to say no to the students that have these things. There's lots of ways to set up boundaries, and there's lots of types of boundaries. I think a lot of times we often think of physical boundaries, like I like my personal space and people aren't going to come into my personal space without me inviting them in. It's a very easy one. I think that's the one we probably are the best at, right? Like we set the boundaries pretty well. If we're not somebody that likes to be touched, we're going to say that. If we don't want somebody walking in our office uninvited, you're probably going to set those things up. However, the emotional boundaries, the intellectual boundaries, a little harder, right? Like those we don't typically do as great with. Or the time boundaries. Time in particular. Though it sounds like you're trying really hard with those students. You're trying to say, these are your allotted times. You can't. But we don't know. So how do you guys feel about boundaries? I asked you earlier how you manage them, but how do you feel about them?
I think they're hard because I think, when you're in this field, you don't normally land here if you're not a helping type of person. And if you are in education and you're not a helping type of person, that might not be a good fit. But so I think they are hard, and I think it is difficult to manage for most of us that are helpers and you want to be there for your students. And I agree. Like sometimes it's just a case by case issue, just in terms of. I'm a dean now, so I don't deal directly with the students as much anymore. But a couple of weeks ago, I had a student walk in my office, and I was literally ready to walk out the door. Well, my daughter had told her to come talk to me because she was having some issues, and I was supposed to be at an off-campus meeting in like 15 minutes. So, but I could not. I was like, I cannot not talk to her.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, bag, purse, jacket, just, and she walks in the office. So I said, come on in, let's talk for a few minutes. And she's like, I'm so sorry, and she just burst into tears.
Yep.
And I was like, whatever, that can just gonna have to wait.
Yep.
I just texted my person. I was like, I'm gonna be late. So it is difficult, but I think again, situational as well too. And I did teach for a lot of years, so
Yeah.
Just the crying student.
Yeah.
Again, I'm trained for that, and that still sucks.
you have to listen. Like, just in that moment, like I can't just be like, oh well, I'm leaving,
Yeah.
And I even felt like I could not, because my daughter told her to come talk. Like I couldn't be like, oh, let me just take you to somebody else.
Yeah.
I still did that, but I took the time to listen to her, and then and then call someone and be like, hey, can you talk to her? So, but it is difficult.
It is. I had a student last semester. So in our program, in the doc program, you're only allowed to get 1 C per degree, master's degree or doc. And I had this student who just didn't turn in the final assignment and then messages me after the fact, literally 24 hours before grades are due, to ask if she could turn it in. And I said no. I set that boundary of no, we can't do this. So she got a C from me, and it's kind of avoided me since. I'll let her. It's no big deal. She doesn't have me this semester. I'm not her supervisor. Let her process and deal with what she needs. Except for a couple weeks ago, she was really, again, I'm the waiting room for the DCT. She was waiting for the DCT. I just said hello to her and asked her how she was. Next thing I know, she is turning on my sound machine, which we have for clinical supervision, shutting my door, plopping down, and immediately bursting into tears. I said hi. Couldn't say no.
Yeah.
We have these things we don't know what to do with sometimes.
Tough part about a lot of these different ones here, right? Because like some of these are definitely easier than others to work with. Because like physical boundaries, like I literally have a laminated sheet on my door with a little magnetic arrow that says currently busy or open for whatever. And like if I'm working, if I have it on currently busy and a student looks in, I point to the paper. Like if again, it's a crisis or stuff like that, then yeah, whatever. Like, come on in, that's fine. But physical boundaries are a lot easier to set up than like, oh my God, a student has walked in and is crying, and I'm like, okay, well, this is my next hour.
Yep.
Right. Because like, well, yeah, I'm like, I can't really boundary that off because they're right here and they need this certain way, right? It's not like they're just like, sorry, I didn't turn in an assignment for 5 weeks. Can I get this in now? So it's different.
It is 100%. That's the criers. They pull at you.
I better cry. If they're crying, I'm gonna cry.
That's where years of being a therapist comes in handy. I'm very used to it. There's also the invisible work. So I'm sure that there's plenty of things that you guys do that you're really not supposed to do or really isn't in the job description. Again, you're a dean and you're dealing with a crying student. So I'm going to encourage you guys, and folks who are in the chat, feel free to put it in the chat. But for my folks who are here, I brought stuffs. 4 of you guys. So feel free. You don't have to get up. You can put them on the wall if you would like, or you can do them on the table. I'm not going to make you move. Feel free. I'll split them off so people can have them. Think of the things you do. There's extra pens for 2 of the folks who need them. What is something you do for students or staff that is not part of your job description, but you choose to do it anyway? Oh, sorry, Maria. You can do as many as you want. We're trying to make visible the things that probably have felt invisible for a while on you. And I'll take the water away. That way you guys don't have to worry about it.
Oh, 100 glass of water.
I'm going to dump it out before I spill it.
Or I knock it over.
That would be me.
Either.
I see a lot of Post-its. It's a lot of invisible work, friends.
That's very, very you, Jamie. You know.
I will say you're catching up to her a bit.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to do.
I don't know, like
Hard because our jobs become blurred into other things.
well, like especially when you're like when you coordinate something, it's kind of like, wow, do a little bit of everything, you know.
I think that's a really great point. I appreciate that you said that things blur after a while because you take on so many different roles. Because even though my title, again, I'm assistant professor, I'm also clinic director of CBL, psychologist, those things all start to blur together. I'm seeing that's kind of what you guys are maybe feeling too.
Because then you feel guilt. I at least feel guilt for putting it on sticky notes. It's like, this is not in my contract. I do it anyway, but it blurred together so much that it's like, well, now I feel bad for pointing it out.
Again, compassion fatigue. We feel guilty for
Yeah.
the things. But what's it like to see these Post-it notes?
Super cool.
I just wrote down. Oh,
My favorite. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
that's fine. So I was the mascot for a period of time. Yeah, when we started Jumpstart years ago, we were doing an ad. And we needed Monty, and I was here, so.
Nathan is literally the jack of all trades. The number one, like he does
Have you seen the
everything.
current mask?
Oh yeah,
They're so tiny.
they're so.
Like the pants are all cool.
Oh,
Got a cord.
Yeah, there was a period about a year that if you saw Monty on anything, that was me.
It's so funny because the head.
So you were the mascot for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I like it. I get to be Vanna White.
Told him like, hey, you have to stop doing that.
I love it. It makes you feel better. Mine would be Vanna White at one point. So because I work for CBL, because because I do the director of CBL, that means I work for our Center for Teaching and Learning. The other person who works for CTL has a kid. She doesn't love doing the evening events. I don't care to do the evening events. I will own the upcoming evening event. May also involve free beverages of a certain form.
Really twisting your arm for that one, huh?
Totally. And my friend will also buy me a dinner afterwards for helping her. But I get to hand out the awards. So I'm very much Vanna White for the night. I hand Blinko glass and certificates out to the John Marshall leaders. I've done that for years. I think half of them think I'm the grad assistant. I think now we're starting to get away from there. There's a little bit more gray hair, so it helps. So, Vanna White.
Mm-hmm.
We have our things. Some of the invisible work isn't bad. Sometimes it can be fun. But again, it's that idea of how much extra stuff are you doing? Some of us, it definitely looks like a lot. And so with it, it's again looking at the things, or maybe it's some of us don't quite know because we have so many roles and so many things blur together that it's hard to see what's the extra. I like you guys.
Okay with.
I think that's also important though, right? Like to learn the things that work. Like maybe it is being the mascot's okay. Maybe not.
It was for the time. For the time. It got to a point where it wasn't.
Costume is not fun to wear.
Oh no, I would
I've
hate
never
that
had
too.
one,
No,
but-
because they didn't get a new one until after I quit.
It was crusty.
That's fair.
The smell
Yeah.
of that thing.
And the fan
Crazy.
didn't work?
No, the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fan didn't work. It
Never
hadn't been
worked.
dry cleaned in years. Yeah, it was bad.
That's fair. Some of the tasks maybe are less awful,
Yeah.
but then it's again finding the ones maybe that I saw you kind of point to one and say that's the one I would like to get rid of.
Like of all of them, I don't mind. Like,
But maybe that's the important thing to note. And maybe that's where the boundary comes in. Maybe.
there is no boundary.
That's fair too.
Would love to make one.
The voluntold.
Yes.
Because that's other duties as
Yeah.
I have some of those too. Those are rough. So what do we think of seeing the work in front of you?
Eye-opening. I think.
Yeah.
Does that maybe explain why you might be feeling some of the fatigue?
Oh,
Yeah, things to be mindful of. Which does bring me to the idea that sometimes we do have to pause. So again, I am a clinical psychologist. So it's my one little plug to do a clinical psychologist thing. Some of you heard me do them last month. I have a mindfulness activity for you guys. You can participate in it if you would like. You do not have to. You do not have to move or do anything. I'm literally just going to read it. But this particular one is called Imagining Your Inner Land to Build Healthy Boundaries. So it's a guided meditation. It's a mindful meditation. So this particular one is trying to help you imagine your peaceful inner land. So we are trying to help build healthy and purposeful boundaries. When you make a healthy boundary for yourself, then things that sometimes have hurt you in the past will not always be able to reach you. Boundaries give to as well as provide life essentials. So to begin, feel free to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. We're going to begin by breathing together. Take 5 deep breaths with me. As you feel the weight of your body and how it presses down, make sure your spine is completely straight and that your posture exudes that you are confident. Keep your eyes closed, increasing your ability to focus. As you breathe easily and gently, you feel safe and relaxed. My voice is going to guide you like a beacon through the darkness. Imagine a sun rising, and you're standing in a beautiful, lush green grass. And there's a small house that you've built by hand in the middle of it. This house represents you and all the work that you put into yourself, and the grass represents the world outside of you. You decide what would be good to plant. You decide you want some trees, some shrubs. You want these plants so that they will aid in protecting you from harm and also benefit the world. For example, a raspberry bush is spiky and dense, yet it gives you a bounty of fruits. If you plant many in a row, they will protect you. like a tall fence that the plant will also give. It serves two purposes. When you plant tall trees, they will protect you from harsh winds. Tall trees supply us with the oxygen, therefore giving while protecting. The trees also serve many purposes. You look at these beautiful life forces that you are planting on your land, and you notice they need some water. You find a low-lying area on your land and begin digging, making the shape of a small pond. As you step back from the circle of dirt you've created, you know that a few heavy rains need to downpour, and it will fill, and it will turn into a natural water source. This pond serves many purposes on your land. It not only provides you and the wildlife with water, but it also gives you somewhere to go to meditate and reflect on the good things in your life and the good things you do for others. Closer to your house, you see you need some vegetables and fruits, so you create a garden that is easy to access and water it when necessary. You plant all the fruits you like and any kind of vegetables you need. Your garden flourishes and provides. All this garden needs from you is to be tended to. You look around at your land, at your plants, everything around your house, and you see that you need an orchard. You strategically plant many apple trees and other fruiting trees right next to that area of all the tall trees, a little closer to your pond. This orchard supplies you with the most delicious apples you've ever tasted and are so nutrients dense. You look around your plot of land, at your trees, at your garden, and you are proud. Not only do all these plants protect you in your home, but they give to you and the community around you. Make sure you work on the garden within you. Put up proper barriers that, if planted well, with love and care, will also give. You are protected. You are allowed to lead a happy life. Lastly, look again at the hand-built home. Take in the details. Note any necessary changes you want to make. Remember, you are an excellent builder after all. You've done a good job. You guys can slowly open your eyes whenever you're ready. One, mindfulness can help relax, can feel good. But that particular one I like because it does highlight we can still do the things while taking care of ourselves. You can still tend the garden while also making sure your house is okay. We have one more session. It is on burnout. I plan to have burnout bingo available. So we might be playing that. So that final session will be on Friday the 10th. If for any reason you ever need anything, my email address is up there. Again, I will try not to respond at midnight, but beyond that, pretty responsive. But I appreciate you all. I know a couple of you guys have been here for both sessions, so, and I know some of the online humans have as well. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Walk out.
Thank you.